Evening to everybody in India. And so we would like to welcome all of you for the OSA 2022 Convention Higher Education Seminar. So we have some plans here. This is the two phase today. The first phase is taking the higher education in Odisha to a new dimension. I understand the guests in India, they are joining so late in the evening. But I really appreciate, or we really appreciate them joining this. So the second part of our higher education seminar is higher education options for the school and college students in the United States. This is mostly for the Odisha Society of America's families and the young students. So that is our main discussion, the second part. And the committee members of this is myself, the co-chair is Dr. Roger Mahanti, and Professor Prasant Mahapatra, Professor Chitta Baral, Professor Avani Patra, and Dr. Asutosh Datta, and Dr. Manoj Mishra, Professor Sanjit Mishra, Dr. Anil Patnaik, and Dr. Devnarayan Patnaik. So we have been trying. So this is the first part, which is taking the higher education in Odisha to a new dimension. So this, in the theme, we have been talking this concept for over a year now. And from that, we got this 6-point discussion and recommendation topics we like to briefly all of you to address. And so this is what is the readiness of the public university to host webinars. The webinars topic, we started one webinar, which is on July 5th. It will be there at 7 p.m. IST. So that one will be done. Actually, the first one is the climate on the coastal areas. Okay. So I will.
Bena, unmute yourself. Bena, unmute yourself. No, you have to unmute.
Now,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So this is the 6-point. We are having one webinar in Odisha at 7 p.m. on July 5th. That is on the climate impact on the coastal areas. That is Professor Mike Budafel, the distinguished professor at NJIT, will give that talk. So we will share, we have already shared their link with many people, so we'll see how it goes. But we will love to give some the webinars by all the experts here in many different areas. The second thing actually we have is how are the universities planning to facilitate international students and faculty exchange program. That we have been giving proposals, and we see what we can do, how to sign up MOU with the different universities, and how this can be done. It may not be with the United States, but it can be with Europe and Australia and other countries. The third thing actually, what is the status of the digital infrastructure on campus? Whether the website reflecting all the research topics of the faculty members, online courses or dedicated course sites for each course and each program. Those things are actually done here in United States. Almost all universities have those, and there are many free softwares available. Of course, the other thing is Wi-Fi broadband availability on in the campus, the entire campus. So we can give ideas. There is technology help and all those areas, and also the course sites that we have, Moodle, Canvas. There are many softwares available, so that can build a very strong digital infrastructure. So the faculty profiles, as I mentioned, the websites should be updated, and so that the international community or international academic community can know the researchers and identify them, and there will be some discussion on that. And there is another thing also, there is a proposal for formation of external advisory council for all Odisha universities that can be individually by the universities. It may not be from anybody from United States, but if you can keep someone from US or keep somebody from the overseas, that will be nice. But there are a lot of academics inside India. They can be part of that for advising all those things. And then we have been planning to have a Center of Excellence in Data Sciences, and that can be done either at Ravenshaw University or all other universities joined together local, and because it expands to many different areas. So we will hear Professor Patra will talk about that later. So I will go to the next uh, part. I will just mention about that, the higher education options of school, college students. But right now, I will ask Professor Ajay Mahanti to moderate the panel discussion on the first part. Thank you very much.
Namaskar, and good evening to our esteemed speakers and panelists from Odisha. We thank you very much and express our gratitude to all of you. Oh no.
Yes,
So
continue.
can you hear me
Yeah,
all?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Continue, Vaina.
So I will start by saying that Professor Durga Mishra outlined those 6 points for higher education. This is by no means exclusive. We only want to indicate where OSHA higher education committee members, also the globally, many professors all over the world, they can help universities in our own mother state. And we are very eager to facilitate that environment, where, we have been educated in this country, but we see that, our universities can go to greater heights. And we had excellent professors. When I was studying in Ravenshaw, there were PhDs from Berkeley and Illinois, and those are brilliant professors. And talent is not, a deficit in our state. So that is why we were striving to collaborate with the professors. And it has already started. Professor Abani Patra has been very kind to initiate a collaboration with Ravenshaw for a data science center. That is the need of the future and our current generation in the higher education. And we will continue to, press for that MOU to be signed with Ravenshaw very soon this year. Professor Asima Sahu is here representing the VC of Ravenshaw. And let me start by inviting Professor Kishore Kumar Basa, VC of Mayurbhanj University, uh, to give a 5 minutes talk on the state of higher education and also those points which we indicated. Thank you. Professor Basa, can you hear me?
Unmute, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Is it all right? Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, loud and clear, sir.
Okay. Respected Dr. Mishra and Dr. Durga Mishra and Dr. Ajay Mahanti and other committee members, respected President Mr. Gyano Patnaik, President the Odisha Society of the Americas. I convey my sincere thanks on my personal behalf as well as on behalf of Maharaja Sri Ramchandra Bhanjdev University to have been invited to this very interesting discussion on taking the higher education of Odisha to a new dimension with some kind of new dimensions. I'm grateful to my colleagues in the United States, fellow ODIAs, for their sustained interest in promoting the cause of higher education in a qualitative sense. My talk will be very brief. As far as the first 6 points are concerned, I think as far as the hosting of this sort of webinars are concerned, this is fantastic. But personally, what we are doing is we are doing it in a kind of a blended mode. I mean, somebody from the United States is speaking, but then we are facilitating in a central place, so that people are there. Or we'll also give a link if anybody doesn't like to come to that gathering, one can do this. I think the blended mode is having a better impact as far as my personal experience goes. Coming back to the faculty exchange and the program, I think most of these universities in Odisha have now the provision of adjunct faculties, for example, or even scholar in residence program or visiting faculty. I think most of the universities they have passed this sort of programs in their respective syndicates. Digital infrastructure, yes, these are reasonably, I think it is reasonably good, but I would expect that it should be still better. Coming back to the faculty profile, the basic information is available, but I think what you have suggested is we can take into account the various websites of different universities of the United States, and one can still make the website better. We take note of that. Coming to the question of external advisory council, I think if it will be done at an all Odisha level, then the government has to come in. But if somebody supporting some universities for some specific programs request our friends from United States, I think there should not be much of a problem. But if I would rather prefer an external advisory council as a whole for the entire state rather than in isolation. In isolation, yes, as friends we can collaborate, we can interact. That's not a problem. But if you are thinking in terms of the whole state of Odisha, I think the government has to be involved in the process. Coming back to the question of centralized multi-university center of excellence in data science, I agree in principle, and we welcome such proposal. Having said these the 6 points, I would like to very quickly make 3 points. First is that with the support of the World Bank, I think there are 12 center of excellences in different universities in the state. For example, in biodiversity, biosciences, and biotechnology, there are 4 such center of excellences. Social sciences 5, physics 1, anthropology and allied sciences 2. So altogether there are 12 center of excellences, centers of excellence operating in different university, and they are doing reasonably well. The World Bank review team has been very happy about the progress, but then the funding will be over in 2023. In order to make this center of excellence sustainable, I think our colleagues or our friends from United States may help us in mentoring or acting as an advisor or suggesting how to generate funds from international agencies. This is number 1. Number 2, coming back specific to my university, I would expect that our university is located in North Odisha, confining to 2 districts, Mayurbhanj and Keonjhar. These are 2 tribal-dominated districts and relatively backward, but rich in mining areas. So we have a center for Simlipal studies, but we are trying to make it, strengthen it into a kind of multidisciplinary center of Simlipal studies, because as you know, Simlipal has been declared as a biosphere reserve by UNESCO way back in 2009, and there are very interesting dimensions of biodiversity. For example, there are 93 species of orchids, and out of which 2 are very endemic. There are other issues in terms of plant diversity, sort of animal diversity, but then the management of the Simlipal Biosphere Reserve is a big problem and big issue. And all of you must have come across the sensational news item last year when the international, there was a hue and cry because of the huge fire that broke out last year in Simlipal. You'll be happy to know that we have involved Bhabha Atomic Research Center and the Forest Department in the process, and the Bhabha Atomic Research Center of Mumbai has started working on the how to sort of take care of the fire. So here what we are trying to do is we are trying to sort of sign an MOU with the Forest Department, because without the Forest Department you can't enter into undertake any research in Simlipal. And we are in a very active stage of signing that MOU. Once this MOU is signed, I think will request our colleague, our friends from United States to join us in terms of different disciplines like botany, zoology, biotechnology.
Excuse me, Professor Basa. Yeah, I think you have to finish in 1 minute because.
Yes, 1 minute. Yes,
Yeah.
just 1 minute. So that's all. So what I meant to say is that we are trying to take the Center for Civil Studies in a multidisciplinary manner, where we involved sort of biological sciences on the one hand, and also social sciences like anthropology, development economics, and sociology on the other, because the tribal people are here. My third point is we can make an experiment in a blended board. Can we start a sort of teaching one course, let us say, where, for example, let's say the course has 4 units. Now 3 units will be covered by our Odisha faculty member, and 1 unit will be covered by one friend from United States. I think we can start this kind of experimentation because of this digital infrastructure. Once again, I thank you all for giving me an opportunity and having patiently listening to my lecture. Thank you once again for taking interest in the cause of higher education in Odisha.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Basa, for your excellent remarks. Please stay for question and answer session. I actually want to make one minor comment, not a small comment. The External Advisory Council must be for all the universities. I agree with you. And it's in Bombay University, they have it for the entire university, an External Advisory Council. And in our own SCB Medical College, they have an External Advisory Council also. So thank you, and we'll take all your points into account, and we'll provide a memorandum to all the VCs, of all our universities. Thank you. Our second speaker and panelist is Professor Asima Sahu. She is the PG Council Chair. She is representing Professor Sanjay Nayak from Revensa, who is the VC, and he is not well, so he could not attend. And Professor, let me tell that Professor Asima Sahu has been the driving force for establishing this data science center at Revensa, and we actually are working with her team. So Professor Asima Sahu, please go ahead and present your views. 5 minutes. Yeah.
Good morning, good evening to all the esteemed participants of this higher education seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Revensa University. Since the time is very less, I'll be brief in my presentation. Regarding the 6-point topics which have been given to us, the first is obviously Revensa University is ready to host webinars, and during the pandemic period, we were at the forefront in organizing webinars on topics of crucial significance. So we have a good experience regarding this, and we are always willing to learn from the best minds across the globe. So it is a very laudable initiative on the part of OSA. Second is, yes, any university would always like to welcome international students and faculties. And in this regard, I'd like to mention that Revensa University has been hosting international students under the ICCR program, that is Indian Council for Cultural Relations, but they're mostly from countries of Asia and Africa. And faculty, yes, Revensa University in the past has hosted faculties under the Fulbright exchange program. But regarding this, I think universities of America, or even as you had mentioned, of different universities in Australia and Europe, we can enter into MOUs for faculty student exchanges that will be very, very beneficial for us to get benefits from their expertise and knowledge, both the student and faculties. Regarding the digital infrastructure, yes, we have been able to create a reasonably good amount of digital infrastructure. We have a e-resource center where we have dedicated computers for the research scholars and the faculties. We have the state-of-the-art facilities there. And we also have a website which is now, of course, updated. But regarding dedicated course sites, yes, we have not been able to do that. We'd like to do it in future, obviously, as has been suggested by Professor Mishra. And Wi-Fi broadband availability, yes, it is available in the university campus. Our university reflects the research interests of all the faculty members. We have research groups of each individual faculty where the students who have been awarded the PhD degrees or who are doing PhD under their guidance, even their publications, all of these are reflected in the website. So anyone who takes the trouble of going to our website will always come to learn about the research interest and the research collaborations which our faculties are doing at the Ravenshaw. And regarding the External Advisory Council for all Odisha universities, I think this is for the government of Odisha to take the call, because we have a state Odisha Higher Education Council in place, which in fact guides us and is the connecting bridge between the government of Odisha and all other universities, state public universities. Of course, we are in touch with Professor Ajay Mahanti sir and Professor Rabani Patra and also Professor Durga Mishra, and quite a few had attended 2-3 meetings which we had organized in the past, and we are developing in that regard. And I think very soon we'll have an MOU with OSA regarding this creation of the Center of Data Science. We are doing reasonable progress. I'd like to mention a few points as far as Ravenshaw is concerned. I think we all can take the advantage of having international faculty under the GAN, that is Global Initiative of Academic Networks. Under these universities of Odisha can have the benefit of having the scholars from international universities. And also, this is common sense, but we would always look forward to having endowments for research in niche areas. And also, we can have some exchange programs whereby our students can go to the US laboratories and they can really work there. They will get international exposure. Then research collaborations can be thought of whereby we can have joint publications of good impact factors. Then also, we can have some scholarship programs for the needy and meritorious students that will really help the deserving students who sometimes face hurdles or obstacles in fulfilling their dreams because of their economic lack of economic strength. And of course, alumni connect is a very important thing, because one of the key pillars of brand Ravenshaw is its alumni. So I think there are many alumni who are part of the OSA and who can really be of great help to Ravenshaw University. We always look forward to them. They can help us, they can guide us, they can mentor us, the faculty members and the students, because now under the Mo College of Vision, all of us know that if a particular person contributes something, then the matching grant is given. So that way we can really help in building our infrastructure in many more ways. We have a greenfield campus, that is the Mahanadi campus, which is about 130 acres, which is coming up. We're going to have state-of-the-art facilities there. So I am hopeful that...
Thank you, Professor Sahu. Please
Yes,
wrap it up in 1 minute.
Yes, I am coming to end. So I think with all these exciting developments, we'll have a very, very we'll have a very dynamic academic ambience and a very vibrant research ecosystem with the help of the esteemed members of the OSA. Thank you all. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to represent Ravenshaw University in this forum.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Asima Sahu. Please stay on for the question and answer session, and we are running a little late, so I will invite the next speaker. Is Professor Joyshal there? Has he joined?
Jayashal, let me check.
No. So Professor Damodara Acharya is unwell. He cannot join. He became unwell after attending the Ratha Jatra in Khodagpur. So next speaker is Professor Savita Acharya, VC of Utkal University. We are really anticipating her to come here in person. Unfortunately, she could not come here, but we are delighted that you could join through Zoom. And please go ahead with your address, ma'am.
Namaskar, Samastanko, esteemed President, chair, co-chair, and members of organizing committee, Higher Education Forum, OSA, and my dear co-panelist. Today's topic, that is taking the higher education in Odisha to a new dimension, is not only an apt topic in current academic scenario, but also a challenging one. The whole design of higher education should fundamentally be transformational, motivational, and aspirational. So we all know that the higher education had experienced phenomenal growth since independence, breaking free of decades of colonial overhang. So achievement of new dimension in higher education in Odisha for different universities are happening for sure, but we have to consolidate what we have, acquire what is new, and integrate them to the best for the teachers, researchers, students, and all the stakeholders. At the outset, I must say, university is the place where research and teaching become the two important pillars of the creation and dissemination of knowledge, and they should go together. So university encourages for diverse growth of knowledge, not fragmentation of knowledge. So I would like to dwell upon certain areas where we have been working hard to bring systematic changes in our approach for taking higher education to a new dimension. Yes, being a public university, Utkal University is ready with digital technology to host webinars by the global higher education community for institutional development and research activities. So it has to introduce redesigning components with structural changes in establishing digital infrastructure and digitizing teaching learning processes. At present, at Utkal, all teachers and researchers are using digital platform for teaching and learning, particularly blended mode is mostly used. The method of teaching is more student-centric. Secondly, I can say internationalization has become a stated mission in the institutional development plans of our university. Utkal has established its international office in 2018 and has been continuously trying to instill cosmopolitanism in the campus and making the university community realize the role of cultural diversity and national imagination in the quest of knowledge. Internationalization of higher education can take place both at home and abroad. So our office has invited many distinguished scholars of international repute to deliver different lecture series, and we have organized good number of international and national conferences and workshops. And the main focus here has been given particularly about internationalization of higher education and how our students can avail international exposures in the field of research and placement. So Utkal University envisages more MOUs with international organizations and universities of repute for fostering collaborative research activities and promotion for quality publications, patents, IPR, and consultancy services, more student and faculty exchange programs, and international travel grant for faculty, researchers, student, and participation in seminar conferences, short-term visits for research, all are provided to the stakeholders funded by RUSA and World Bank. Besides this, I would like to focus on how we are going ahead in the area of industry collaboration by establishing a center of innovation and incubation, which was established in 2021. This Center for Innovation and Incubation of our university is to create ecosystem that will foster, support innovation and knowledge-based entrepreneurship among those who are incubated so as to transform the knowledge into creation of wealth and social value through successful ventures. The core objective of this center is to identify, to nurture, to support entrepreneurs aspiring to evolve business models on the domains of biotechnology, green business, agri-tech, social entrepreneurship, food processing, agribusiness, and other sectors and subjects. We are trying our level best to create ecosystem inside the campus. So Utkal
Excuse me,
University,
Professor Acharya, 1 minute, please wrap
yes,
it up.
yes.
Thank you.
We have also dedicated lease line for the broadband and Wi-Fi enabled campus to promote teaching activities across the globe and giving access to education for more people through e-learning. We have created a greater number of ICT lab and video conferencing facilities in all departments and centers to promote virtual mode of interaction from distinguished academicians of international repute for teaching. And already we have developed a vibrant website with up-to-date information and for getting latest information about the university. And presently, faculty profiles with their area of research interest have been uploaded in the website, which will help to facilitate collaboration with the international faculty and the researcher. University has already established 11 centers of excellence funded by RUSA and World Bank to expand the research spheres to carry out interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary research, both inside and outside of the university to enhance collaborative research program. So some of these, as far as that external advisory council is concerned, aligning with the short-term and long-term vision of university, we have constituted advisory committees, academic committees, administrative committees, having external members as experts from other institutions, organizations, universities, but no such international delegate or international professor or international intellect is associated with us. So some of these committees are research advisory committee and internal quality assurance cell. We are having also external members. And presently, we may think of formation of an external advisory council comprising all universities of Odisha and outside. So we have departments like computer science, physics, mathematics, statistics, economics, and many more allied subjects, which have been working on data analysis fields like data mining, statistics, predictive analysis. So now we require a more practical knowledge. So the university has already taken step to establish a department of data science, and we can look forward to be the part of centralized multi-university center of excellence in data science with participation of the faculty members from other universities and institutions. So at the end, I would like to say that our university desires our faculty members, researchers, and students should be associated with the international interconnectedness and the high level of social responsibilities, global competencies to have increased civic engagements. So thank you so much to the organizers of OSA for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts on behalf of Utkal University. I convey my sincere thanks for giving me this opportunity and for showing your willingness to help the universities of Odisha to conquer new intellectual frontiers in higher education.
Thank you. Thank you,
Namaste.
Professor Acharya, for an excellent presentation and summarizing the accomplishments of Utkal University and also the willingness to collaborate with our higher education community worldwide. So our next speaker, Professor Surya Mishra, he's sitting here, and he is retired professor from Utkal University, Political Science. Many people know him well, and I will give the microphone to Professor Mishra, please.
Since the number of participants are less, I will take it more. Well, good morning, everybody here, and good evening to my old colleagues and friends from Odisha. Well, all the presentations made here, they were all concerning the action taken report, as I have understood, because this is what transpired between the participants in the Houston webinar last year, and the postscript has been prepared by the reigning vice chancellors, and they have presented their report. Well, my brief is different because I am nowhere connected with any official position since I have left active association with my university, Utkal University, for the last 12 years. I'm a pensioner now. Well, having said this, I also understand the world is changing. The technology is changing. Education, which came as a great leveler, higher education has become an enabler. So with that enabling situation, which higher education has created, I was listening to the budget speech yesterday in Odisha, where for the first time in 1999, there was only 118,000 crores were invested for growth of education in the state. Last budget, means yesterday's budget, was 2,000 crore allotment. And this 2,000 crore allotment is a big jump, 17 times higher than what it was there when I came here in 1999 to attend a Ford Foundation conclave at Albuquerque in New Mexico, higher education in 21st century. When I was here, the super cyclone occurred. So we carried the message from this place, how to reconstruct Orissa. And in that process of reconstruction, I was the coordinator for the seminar. Professor Manoranjan Mahanti of Delhi University was the national coordinator, and Professor Digambar Mishra from USA was the international coordinator. And more than a dozen OSA members, enthusiastic OSA members, attended that seminar in Utkal University to discuss about reconstruction of post-super cyclone Odisha. Maybe the primary objective is to meet their kith and kin, but the secondary objective is more important because they are interested to devote their time, energy, and conscience for the development of the state. So education was a forum where Professor Pandav Naik, who was representing IGNOU, presided. And many observations were made. And I take a clue from that. And there, OSA members suggested that flexibility is now the much required theme for Odisha's educational progress, because bureaucratization has killed higher education in the state. You have to leave the bureaucratic process, come for flexibility. And from that flexibility, the words we generated, I submitted the report to the then State Chief Minister, Mr. Himanand Biswal, because he was the Chief Minister at that point of time. So we, in that education paragraph, we have written that in this seminar, OSA members generated 4 C's: concern, consciousness, then commitment and competence. So I do not know where we land today. In 1999, these were the 4 C's: concern, consciousness, commitment, and competence. But what I understand from the action taken report, the commitment part is taken care of. So competence is probably awaited by Professor Mahanti and Professor Mishra and others, that we are going towards that competence. And there we declared in that particular forum that consultation, cooperation, and collaboration will be the style of understanding between OSA and Utkal University. Because many first-timers here who came before 1969 OSA formation, they had seen only one university, couple of colleges. Now we have got, Akash is sitting here, 1,025 colleges as per Saswat Mishra's report. 32 colleges are autonomous institutions. 72 colleges are giving PG teaching. And today we have got more than 40 institutions, public universities, private universities, deemed to be universities, institutions of national reputation. So Odisha's infrastructure is growing because of the investment by private sectors, and also at the same time because of a political stability in the state. We are finding that education sector is not neglected at all. Couple of years from 2002 to 2006 or 7, we were in a stalemate condition because of one incident I'm telling you, sharing you with due permission. It was on 5th of January 2002 when Utkal University was celebrating its convocation. Mr. Krishna Kandi, then Vice President of India, was the guest. Mr. M. Rajendran, Chancellor of the University, was present. Degrees, I was coordinating the activities. The degrees were, PhD degrees were given. They are supposed to be given on the convocation day. 341 degrees were distributed, out of which 90 degrees were for Odia. and both chancellor and vice president, they interacted. What kind of degree is distributing this Utkal University? 90 PhD in 1 year for one subject. After that started the process of reprimanding Utkal University faculty members, controlling, regimenting. There was a spar between Vice Chancellor Pramdev Naik and because Pramdev Naik has become Vice Chancellor then and Chancellor in a meeting. Then the process of registration and process of research doing was over. So I was just looking as a silent spectator because the process of collaboration, consultation, and cooperation, this all gone to dogs. For 6 years, there was no registration, no enrollment per PhD. So research was completely taken back. So at that particular point of time, this was our problem. Utkal University, what Sabita was telling just now, it is looking back down the memory lane, what, how, and when we have suffered. And my suggestion here will be that since OSA is taking interest and we have landed at the commitment stage because answerability, not predictability, answerability is now the focus of the discussion. So what we are going to do next? So I have a couple of suggestions here from students' point of view, from faculty point of view, from institution point of view. So I'll seek the permission from Ajay Babu, the coordinator and convener, that I'll read out those jotted points which I have made. You permit me? We'll take note of it. Thank you for waiting. Well, first I look to the university or higher education institution for what my suggestion is. OSA and universities in Odisha. You see, Sonipat in Haryana has become the hub of modern education in the country. And Odisha has got two belts. One is Bhubaneswar Katak, other is Sambalpur and Burla. If you look into that, they come closer to Sonipat in terms of institutionalization process. I don't talk about the outcome process, but institutional building in these two places. So university and higher education institutions can collaborate in this manner. And I suggest hand-holding. It's not a question of answerability or predictability. Hand-holding for a joint entrepreneurship within the university, outside the university, between these two institutions. Second is providing consultation, because OSA should feel OSA is ahead of Utkal University and other universities. It is present in a different ambience when the world is changing, because you see in USA, you have the problem of affordability and accessibility to higher education. So also we have got. So within that scheme of affordability and accessibility problem, we have to accommodate mutual consultation and how far we'll be able to do that. Then modernization of the information system. You see, in information system modernization, our universities are taking steps, but we need a giant leap. For that, the library system should be debureaucratized, because you see, in 1988, we purchased books from World Book Fair. Till 2001, they were not accessible because the employees are demanding money to do accession. So these are the institution processes: debureaucratization, consultation free, and hand-holding. For faculty, there should be mentoring, there should be proper scope, there should be inventory of what are the ideas available here and there across the border, so that we can look into the problem. This is for the faculties. And for students, enough scope should be there. In 1993, during the Golden Jubilee celebration, we created an information kiosk in Utkal University. Professor Manoranjan Kar of Botany was the coordinator of that. I remember I was the deputy registrar at that point of time, and that is a closed institution now, because we are helping GRE and Fulbright scholars for that particular purpose. And today, students are mostly, and parents are also having the capacity to pay, so they are interested to come, but they do not know where to go, how to go. So OSA should create a window, proper window, so that they can get benefit out of this. Thank you very much for giving me a little more time and also patient hearing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. आपण एटा टिके मते पठेबे लिखिके हां पठे दुर्गा पठे next Professor Gopabandhu Behera, is he there? It's not there. And now I would like to invite Akash Das Naik to come here and present Mo College for 5 minutes and we welcome him. Thank you. The Mo College chair and he'll be presenting his views also.
Yes. Namaskar, respected dignitaries, and thank you for inviting me. First of all, खूब कम समय रे मो कॉलेज संपर्क रे कहिबी मो कॉलेज अभियान ऑनरेबल सीएम एवं स्टेट गवर्नमेंट करो एक अभिनव परिकल्पना मो कॉलेज अभियान रो मूल उद्देश्य हला अतीत सहित वर्तमान को जोड़िबा एवं भविष्यतर रूपरेख निर्णय करिबा Mo College platform provides a unique interface to the global alumni diaspora from Odisha and their respective alma mater to connect, converse so as to collaborate in their mission to showcase the larger canvas of transformation for a new Odisha. निश्चित भाव में ओडिशा बदलुची जेमती सूर्य बाबू कहते मुझे ये चाहिए एबे रिसेंटली आम बजेट रे एजुकेशन एंड स्किल डेवलपमेंट पाई आई थिंक यस्टरडे 27,324 crores 27,000 crore allocate हेची बोधे बिगेस्ट बजेट आज जाए हेची किंतु वर्तमान आमर जहाँ लक्ष्य रही मो कॉलेज अभियान रो मु कहया चाहूची आपण को मो कॉलेज अभियान रो मूल लक्ष्य रहिला किभଳି भाबरे आमे मो कॉलेज अभियान माध्यम रे ओडिसा रे कॉलेज एवं यूनिवर्सिटीज रो इंफ्रा रो डेवलप करि परिबा स्टूडेंट्स मान को डेवलप करि परिबा एवं फैकल्टी मान को डेवलप करि परिबा प्रथम काम हला मो कॉलेज अभियान रो अलुमनी कनेक्ट आमे वर्तमान सारा ओडिसा रो विभिन्न कॉलेज एवं यूनिवर्सिटीज रे पास आउट करथिबा समस्त स्टूडेंट्स मानकर एक रोबस्ट अलुमनी डाटाबेस तैयारी करूछु एनुअल मीट प्लान करूछु हॉस्टल कैंपस विजिट प्लान करूछु एवं अलुमनी मानकर सहयोग रे जेमती आलोचना ही सरछि मु विशेष कहया चाहूनी डिजिटल कॉलेज स्मार्ट क्लासरूम्स पेपरलेस कैंपस वेबिनार एंड सेमिनार्स ई लर्निंग एंड ई लाइब्रेरी सिस्टम्स एकेडमिक कनेक्ट माध्यम रे स्टूडेंट एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम्स जोटा कि आपण मानक सहयोग दरकार पड़िबो ओसार सहयोग दरकार पड़िबो टाई अप विथ पैन इंडिया एंड ओवरसीज कॉलेजेस इंटर एंड इंट्रा कॉलेज कॉम्पिटिशंस फैकल्टी ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स स्टडी टूर आदि करिया जाउछु इंडस्ट्री कनेक्ट माध्यम रे हमें पीरियडिक कनेक्ट विथ कंपनीज डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट टू डिस्कस न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रेंड्स इनोवेशन फिनिशिंग स्कूल आम ओडिशार पिलामानक मध्य बहुत दक्षता अच्छी संभावना अच्छी सो आमे आम पिलामानक मध्य सॉफ्ट स्किल डेवलपमेंट्स पर्सनल एट्रिब्यूट्स कम्युनिकेशन स्किल डेवलपमेंट आदि मो कॉलेज अभियान माध्यम रे करिया जाउछु करियर बिल्डिंग कार्यक्रम विभिन्न कॉलेज रे आमे आरंभ करि सरछु अलुमनी मानक नै करियर काउंसलिंग प्रोग्राम्स मोटिवेशनल टॉक्स प्लेसमेंट सेल्स एंड पिलामानक मध्य किबळे अधिक रु अधिक स्टार्टअप एवं एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप ऊपर से मानकर आइडिया अधिक आसीबो से दिगरे मध्य हम काम करूछु स्किल आइडेंटिफिकेशन एंड एनहांसमेंट बहुत पिला अछंती से मानकर बहुत स्किल्स अछि के सॉन्ग्स रे भलो करूछंती के डांस के स्पोर्ट्स रे से मानक मध्य हमें मो कॉलेज अभियान माध्यम रे से मानकर स्किल एनहांसमेंट दिगरे काम करूछु डिजिटल एंड सोशल प्रेजेंस बोथ कॉलेजेस एंड स्टूडेंट्स मानकर किबळे भाबरे डिजिटल एवं सोशल प्रेजेंस रही परिबो से दिगरे मध्य हमें अवेयर करूछु कैंपस कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स रे हमें मो कॉलेज को प्लाटफॉर्म भाव में नहीं आलुमनाई प्रेजेंट स्टूडेंट्स पेरेंट्स समस्त को नहीं चेष्टा करुछु कि भाव में कैंपस रे गोटे सुंदर वातावरण हो पारिबो हाइजीन ऑफ कैंपस अवेयरनेस कैंपेन्स नेशन बिल्डिंग दिगरे वर्तमान स्टूडेंट्स मानकर कोन सहयोग रही परिबो किबळी अवदान रही परिबो एवं जने एक्टिव सिटीजन किबळी भाव जने हे परिबे से दिगरे मध्ये आमे काम करूछु एबे मु शेष पर्याय को आसुची मो कॉलेज अभियान को हम तीन भाग रे विभक्त करिबा किभଳି जने मो कॉलेज अभियान सहित जड़ित हो परिबो बा सहयोग करि परिबो गोटी हला फाइनेंशियल कंट्रीब्यूशन मु जदि आपन को उदाहरण स्वरूप कहिबी रिसेंटली डॉक्टर नारायणी पंडा जी की गंगाधर मेहर यूनिवर्सिटी रु पास आउट करिसेंती से तांकर कॉलेज को यूनिवर्सिटी को 30 लाख रुपीस रो मो कॉलेज अभियान को एक फंड देले एवं तार 2x मैचिंग ग्रांट आमे 60 लाख रुपीस से यूनिवर्सिटीज को देलु जहाँ टोटल अमाउंट होची 90 लाख रुपीस एवं वर्तमान डॉक्टर नारायणी पंडा को ना रे सेंटर फॉर आईटी एंड लर्निंग स्किल सेंटर से तैयारी होची काम चली एवं आउट उदाहरण देवी ये होचन निर्मल्य महाकूट जने आईटी प्रोफेशनल फ्रॉम भद्रक कॉलेज से तांकर खाली समय रे पिला मानको चेष्टा करछन्ती कैरियर काउंसलिंग दवा पई विभिन्न प्रकार अवेयरनेस कैंपेन करिया पई सो आपण मानको मध्ये मु कहियो चाहिबी ओसा को विशेष भाव में आपण माने होचन्ती जो माने बाहर अछन्ती बहुत सफल होइछन्ती आमो पिला मानक पई आपण माने जण जणे रोल मॉडल तेणु आपण मानकर इंटेलेक्चुअल कंट्रीब्यूशन आमे बहुत आवश्यक करूछु आगामी दिन में मुझे चाहिए आपण मैंने समस्ते आम विभिन्न कॉलेज और यूनिवर्सिटी सहित जोड़ी हूँ मो कॉलेज प्लाटफॉर्म आपण मैंने सुविधा नियंतु बर्तमान पर्यंत आम पाखापाखि 60 प्रोजेक्ट्स कर सारी अनेक प्रोजेक्ट चली शेष में आउ थे आपण समस्त को धन्यवाद जनाऊँ उषा एभली एक कार्यक्रम कर आशा करुच्ची मो कॉलेज अभियान उषा एवं ग्लोबल आलमनी डायस्पोरा समस्ते मिसी ओडिशार उच्च शिक्षा दिगरे जो वैप्लविक परिवर्तन आसूची से दिगरे आपण माने सहयोग करिवे बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नमस्कार
Thank you, Akash Babu. Wonderful presentation, and we will continue this discussion and collaboration with more college. Okay, this is for the question and answer session. Those who want to ask the question from Zoom audience, please, you can raise your hand. Any question from the audience here? Any question from the audience?
Oh. The microphone. Hello. Achha. So actually, my question is about the Mo College. So that was the last presentation. I think it's a very, very good effort. Now, I just want to know who is like for the financial contribution, who is matching the money? Is it Odisha government? Okay, so there was a Mo school project. You know, it has been sustained very well, and we have all contributed. And really, it was very good idea that the government went ahead and matched. So now they have extended that to Mo College. Okay. Now, those who are in OSA here, they live in this country. Is there any understanding with the IRS here or anything for that contribution to go tax-free? No, tax-free. Like, you know, from, you know, here, for example, if I, right. So if I give some money to OSA, okay, and for a good cause, you know, there is a way that because OSA is a 501c organization, then we can make it tax-free. So what I was saying is that if we give the money through OSA, then can there be a pot where it will collect the money and go to different colleges or universities?
ATG under asuchi. So Odisha re je connect karuchhanti. I think so those who are contributing. Okay. So Odisha re those who are contributing, we are giving them tax rebate ATG अंतर्गत. But एठु आपण माने केमति देबे सेटा बर्तन जाय वर्कआउट हे पारेनी मे बी ओसार जदी ओडिसा रे गोटे आपण माने यस
Yes. See, for Mo College, any organization can contribute, and its set of people also can contribute, and Odisha government will match. And I'm experiencing that one. So if you give it to OSA and say 5 people contributed, but it will be in one of the OSA's project. See, they involve people in executing the project also as an advisor. So it can work, but we have to deal with the BOG.
Process is that in every college we have a committee. In every university also we have a committee. In university, vice chancellor is the chairperson, and in colleges, principal is the chairperson. There is a committee. So if anyone, individual or a set of people or a company, the CSR fund, जे कि donate करिया को चाहिए, तार 2x amount मो college अभियान हमारे corpus fund अच्छी, so हमें दोचु, एवं donor इच्छा, धरा जो आपनो कहिबे जे मु ए college रे अंको नारे उठे किसी करिया को चाहूँची, सेटा आपनो proposal देबे, but से committee जोटा अच्छी college रो, से मने कहिबे जे दरकार अच्छी कि नहीं, mostly मु आपनो को उदाहरण देबी, रेभेन्सा कॉलेज रे मिसेस मनोरमा दास कर चली गला परे तांको जियो आपन को उसार मेंबर मिसेस श्वेतपद्मा दास सी तांको मां को नारे गोटे हॉल तयारी करछंती मनोरमा दास मेमोरियल सो सी कंट्रीब्यूटेड 10 lakhs rupees मो कॉलेज वी आर गिविंग 20 lakhs rupees 30 lakhs rupees से कॉलेज को दिया जाईछि कॉलेज ताको एग्जीक्यूट करूछि कॉलेज से कामटी करूछि थैंक यू
Yeah, any questions for the university vice chancellors that we have? Because it is getting very late there. It's almost 11:30 in India. So if you have any questions that, and then Mr. Dasnaik will be here for a few more minutes, we will ask questions. But if you have any questions to these, the university professors, vice chancellors, we will appreciate if you can ask the question.
से आपण को मोर तीनटा क्वेश्चन अच्छी तीन जन गोटे हूँ यूनिवर्सिटी गोटे हूँ ओसा को आउ गोटे हूँ आमर मो कॉलेज जान को मो यूनिवर्सिटी को प्रथम पचार जे आम मैंने बहुत परिमाण रे धर जो आपन कहले जे 1997 रे आपन बहुत आइडिया दिया हेतला एवं सेडा को कंट्रीब्यूट माने सेडा को वर्तमान सुधा कोन काम हो से भरा मु 5 वर्ष धरिकी उत्कल यूनिवर्सिटी सहित पर्सनल कोलाबोरेशन करिया पई गोटे प्रोजेक्ट रे तांकर इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी जो अछि एडवांस रे आई ट्राइड वेरी हार्ड फ्रॉम माय साइड and it never went anywhere. You go, they will be very excited, give a talk. After that, it stays there. I tried my very best. Utkal University, Center for Biotechnology, did nothing. The idea was that Odisha has so many medicinal plants. There is no catalog, there is no library. So if you can make a library of those chemicals, compounds, we can have a drug product, which university or any either the university or biotechnological farms, they can pursue that and they can have a good product. That's one. Second thing, Hochi, everything you need. Okay.
Ma'am, would you like to answer it, please?
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Actually 5 ବର୍ଷ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଆପଣ ଆସିଥିଲେ ବାୟୋଟେକ୍ନୋଲୋଜି ରେ କଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେଟା ତ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଶୁଣୁଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ଏବେ ଆସିଲେ ସେଟା actively we will take it very seriously and the research will continue actively.
Thank you. But
5 ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ କଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ତ ମୁଁ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ରୂପେ ଏବେ ଆପଣ ଆସନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ରୂପେ actively ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ collaborate କରିବୁ that will benefit our student and research scholars.
okay, thank you. But second question I have to Gosa, that everything needs money. Let's say we want to bring a student from any of the universities. When they come, we can give our lab free, project free. They can stay, we can give a little money. But the other university who is sending, they should have some funds. Or you see, there is a summer studentship is there for Khurana studentship, and there is a very like this month it comes out, they will send a their CV, and somebody will accept, and the Khurana Foundation gives the money, and the student come. The same way, Bose Foundation. From here, a student goes to Odisha or anywhere else, they can go through that program. But OSA should have a similar kind of program where there should be centralized, like there is a committee where you give that. That's what. And third question I have for the MOP.
About the exchange program, we have given a proposal proposal to both Utkal University and Ravenshaw University that the cost they have to pay and the cost the university is adjusting or also giving facilities, but it has not been materialized. So it is going to work. I believe the vice chancellors will understand that. We will love to have them. I have identified like your university, our university, different topics like social sciences, physics, chemistry, and engineering, and this biotechnology research that we will try to facilitate. I have already talked to our administration and they are very supportive of that to give minimize the cost here. And then if there is support from the universities, it is definitely going to work. That is, we are working on that. We have submitted proposals, examples for undergraduate, graduate, and faculty exchange.
So there is a question from Arjun sir. Arjun sir, please unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Namaskar, I'm Arjun Purohit Kochi. Recently I was going through my estate planning and things like that, and I found out that Canadian Revenue Agency recognizes only one university from India as a charitable recognized charity. That is Punjab University. And later on, it was revoked because they did not abide certain things. Right now, there is only one university in India, Pilani University, to which Canadian residents can give tax advantage donation to them. And Odisha, we do not have any. So I was trying to explore actually whether more college people can facilitate this process. And I can give you the particulars how this should be. They can apply to Canadian government to be registered as registered charity, so that we can give money to them and get some tax advantage to it. It is especially important when people are getting old, and we can leave money in our wills and things like that. Second thing is, I was surprised that none of the universities have FCRA clearance. This is a handicap. I don't know why they don't do it. As far as I know, they don't have FCRA clearance. So even if I want to give money, they cannot receive the money. So these are the two concrete proposals I'll put to Das Naik Babunku. Say they should pursue that. And if they want my help in terms of Canadian side of the thing, I'll be very happy to give guidance how to go about doing it.
Thank you very much, Professor Purohit. This is probably the last question. You have a question?
Thank you. I have a question and a comment. I'm Annapurna Devi Pandey. I teach at the University of California, Santa Cruz, one of the non-hard subjects, cultural anthropology. So I have worked with Professor Acharya and Professor Sahu here. And the interesting thing is, I would like to say that maybe the university is talking about internationalization and collaborating with the faculty, which Professor Mishra and Abani Pabu and also here Sukanta Babu are sitting, that we have been planning that for the last several, maybe more than a decade. So it's very important. Now you're saying the exchange is still in the works. So I'm very hopeful that it will. But I think it's very important that kind of, if you kind of, formalize that from the university side, that's just kind of, when you are inviting or kind of making sure that who you want and having a kind of a formal contract invitation, so that way in biotechnology, in sciences, social sciences, you can have the faculty from here. So I really put the kind of the responsibility on part of the universities there to make use of the expertise and the specialization here. So please kind of, just, I know you are doing it at the informal level. It should be more formal and more contractual. Thank you.
So Professor Acharya, Professor Sahu, and Professor Basa, do you have any comment? Please unmute yourself and say whatever you feel at this point.
You can unmute, ma'am. Asima ma'am and Basa sir, you can unmute.
I think all of you would kindly agree that in the last 5 years, the research ecosystem in the universities in Odisha has certainly improved. This is I'm saying it on the basis of about 38 years of experience in higher education in the state. Coming back to the question of, I don't know what kind of the project related to biotechnology, but I know that there are centers of excellence. I think they are doing marvelous work in Sabalpur University. There is a center of excellence which is doing excellent work, I am told, on these medicinal plants. And when we are talking of this Center for Similipal Studies, that is one of the aspects we are keeping in mind. So I'm sure research is taking place, but as all of you have suggested, we need more collaboration, more active sort of cooperation and consolidation. I think what has happened, the problem with Odisha in the last 40 years, I would say that things have happened sporadically here and there. One vice chancellor comes, he initiates certain things and he goes, and then another vice chancellor comes, initiates certain things. So the proper sense of institutional development planning has not taken place. Now the Odisha Higher Education Council has decided that all of the universities, I'm talking of the public universities, are going for an institutional development plan.
In Utkal University, we have collaborative research work with the University of Goethe, Frankfurt, particularly in anthropological fieldwork. And we are going on, we are just still it is continuing the collaborative research work. And in many more other subjects there also they have the collaborative research work, but the number into total number is not much more. And we are now trying to send our students in exchange program by utilizing the funds of Russia and World Bank. And we are trying to, because of the Corona, 2 years we couldn't do anything. As Professor Durga Mishra suggested that actually we are interested to send our student in exchange program for short-term course and all. But we will just check out the program and we'll send our student. And collaborative research work is going on in some subjects. Professor Pandey, she knows it.
Thank you, Professor Acharya. I think there are many excellent questions and we were taking it down, noting it down, and then we'll submit a summary and a memorandum to all the vice chancellors. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Namaskar.
For this particular discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Anil Patnaik. Actually, if you remember, we had this discussion just 2 years before, and we submitted a draft to higher education minister about institutionalizing this whole process. And there is a MOU draft right now. It is with higher education ministry. And ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ request କରିବି Akash Babu, if you could also pursue it with higher education ministry. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I think thank you very much, everybody, and it is our pleasure that you could come so late in the evening, and we will conclude this part of our higher education seminar at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaskar.
You can, yeah, I really appreciate. I think it is quite late for you, Professor Basa and Professor Acharya and Professor Sahu. So we really appreciate you coming. Thank you very much. Our next higher education program, I would like to invite Dr. Sukant Mahapatro to moderate this session. This is on higher education options for schools and college students in the United States. And first speaker in this will be Dr. Prashant Mahapatro. So I will, you have to talk now.
Okay. Okay. No.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Please quiet down, please. Please.
Good evening, everybody. We have a very distinguished panelist and very interesting topics, particularly the higher education options for school and college students in US and Canada. And we have very distinguished panelists to support that. And we'll kind of start right now. Specifically focusing, we talked about the higher education in Odisha and all. We have to talk about how our second generation students here can get an option on the career counseling, following the career option in US and internship, research, those kind of things. And I invite Professor Prashant Mahapatra to be here. And just Professor Mahapatra, actually as a kind of vice chancellor of research and research at UC Davis, I'd like to appreciate your thought process. For the students, what is the counseling is needed and how we can make sure they excel in their core competency, they follow their passion, and also why they should follow research as a career option. And 5 minutes talk followed by 5 minutes question and answer from the people. And yeah, and basically,
okay, I'll Okay, I'll hopefully take less than 5 minutes. Good morning, everyone. Let me divide it into undergraduates and graduate aspects. So we are at an inflection point where things are changing, and it's changing both in the admissions process as well as when you get into your career path. The admissions process, as you know, most of the universities are getting rid of the standard SAT and all the quantitative exams. They're looking at more qualitative values from students. So we need to start preparing our students right from the high school level in order to develop a very broad spectrum of skills, which is beyond the traditional GPA or scores level of thing. Few things that are becoming more important is how skillful you are in using your knowledge. Okay, it's not, I'm not
sidelining the theoretical aspects of things, but how do you use the theoretical knowledge in expanding your skill set to the practical world? That's one aspect. Another aspect which is really big, and this is important also, that your success in life, or the success of your students in life, depends a lot on how they communicate. I'm not talking about only spoken language, how you express your views and what kind of leadership skills you have. And that is becoming more and more important. Now, as Sukandbhai pointed out, research is another aspect that we are expecting students to have a research bent upon. It's not about having just successful research. It creates a different mindset. Okay, it's not about STEM, non-STEM, or anything. It is like, do you have the power to think outside the box and innovate, newer things? It doesn't have to be in science, in a broader spectrum. So these are the kind of the new things that you as parents need to probably instill in the student's mind right from the high school time, in order to be successful in their career. The other thing, I think Pranav will talk more about this, that when you go to the industry, there are a few things that becomes more important is, how do you work collaboratively? And doing collaborative research in the colleges or schools, that helps building a kind of a competence as well as a level of confidence where you learn how to work with others. The world has changed, very few people, unless you are working on a physics or chemistry lab all by yourself, you will be in an environment where you will work with 20 different people with all different views, all different personalities, and people from all over the world. You have to develop a culture of acceptance of all the views and together innovate those things. You might be noticing that even being a lifetime academician, I haven't talked about any courses or study hard or work hard. Those are things which everyone knows. So I'm telling you what you need to do beyond the traditional approaches, and that's what will help in making your students, your children, very successful going into the future. Okay, so let me stop there and pass it over to the next.
Thank you, Prashant. I think one of the options what are looking, what OSHA and so many people in academic, so many people in industry, what OSHA can do with respect to implement some of the idea, to help on some of the idea in a tactical way and strategic way. Maybe 1 year we should accomplish ABC. In 5 years we have accomplished XYZ. That we need to put forward in addition to advice, what we implement so that we can achieve those goals in specific things. I invite Mr. Pranav Khaitan from the Google, and he's a corporate leader. And my specific question to him, when the students are going to study, in addition to academic excellence, research excellence, people want to succeed in corporate sector. And what is your advice? What is your thought process? How students can succeed in corporate sector, including becoming entrepreneurs? And how, as a OSHA and the OSHA community member, how we can instill those kind of value, those kind of strategy to make it happen?
Thank you very much. Nice to meet everyone here. So I think already Professor Mahapatra started elaborating on the need for more broader experience, not just university or courses, but also getting real world experience. I'll break my answer into two parts. One is like the need and the benefits of getting real world experience. And second is how do people go about getting it? I think for the first part, I think we all, regardless of which career path we are on or which industry we are in, we have all seen the benefits of real world experience. And the earlier people can start, the better it is. These days, like historically, I think US universities move faster on this than Indian universities, which were more course based. But these days, we are starting to see a lot of students in India as well opting for internships, opting for real world experience. I did my college in Orissa, and very early on, since my freshman year, we were like very proactively like starting to apply for internships and see what are the best possible options. And I think that the ways it helps is one, I think, again, as Professor Mahapatra already mentioned, uh, getting that kind of collaborative experience. Like when we do courses, it gives us like experience to read things, understand things, solve problems individually, but doing it as a team, doing it as part of a work environment, I think that's something that the real world gives us when we do it as part of industry. Second is, I think it also gives us a feel of the opportunities out there, right? So early on in our careers, we often don't know, do I want to go into consulting? Do I want to go into finance? Do I want to go into engineering? And early on, the more opportunities we can try, the better exposure we have, and then we are better informed to make those decisions later on in our career. So that's seed with that, because like often, like especially early on in our careers, we don't know what are the best internship options, or even like fresh new grad job options. I think there's a range of opportunities out there, even more so in the US than in India. I think like we can start like early on in our career, like even like let's say high school students, we can start looking at local opportunities around us. Local means it could be like locally at the library, it could be locally in one of the government institutions. And then further on as we go, we can start looking at more of the macro opportunities, especially it could be um, more around the sort of the career we want to pursue. For instance, it could be engineering, it could be medicine, it could be something else, it could be history. There are lots of good museums and historical institutions which give very rich internship opportunities. Companies like Microsoft, companies like Google are starting to give opportunities not just to college but even to high school students. So applying early on, and even sometimes like many internship opportunities are not published, and just proactively reaching out to these right institutions, applying it, I think helps a lot, and I've seen many people benefit from that. So that's something I would recommend. And more broadly, I think stepping back, I think as students, be it in high school or be it in college, think about their careers. I think stepping back and thinking holistically about all the opportunities available. There are higher education opportunities available. There are industry opportunities. There are academic opportunities, and thinking holistically across each of these. Like oftentimes, what happens is we end up learning about one early on, and we just stick to it and not give enough attention to the other available opportunities. So I think it's important to think holistically to evaluate across the set of opportunities. That's something I would recommend. Yeah, and I'll pause and happy to take questions later.
We'll take a question at the end. We'll take the question. Let me finish with the speakers. Um, uh, okay. Now the Professor Avani Patra, who has been doing research on a lot of area in the machine learning, data analytics. So my question to Professor Patra to give a talk on why research is a career option, why students should look into it. And it's not research in engineering or computer science, in all the different area, and why it is critical and why it is a proper career option for some students who are passionate about it. Professor Patra.
Thank you. So, thank you very much for that wonderful question. So the picture that you get when somebody says research is some crazy fellow with no hair or a lot of hair sitting in some lab writing some crazy stuff, and then magic comes out, E equals mc square happens. Firstly, let me dispel that notion. Every time you have a problem for which a solution is not at hand, it may be just figuring out how to go to your school better, how to you come up with a new routing to avoid traffic in your daily commute. You do some research. So research is a systematic way to improve the human condition. So whether you are talking about social problems, you're talking about physics, particle physics to understand the grand theory of everything, that's irrelevant. So research is in some sense a way of living, a way of thinking about yourself, a way that is very rewarding. I used to joke about this, that I never work. And my wife will say, but I never see you either. I said, well, I'm not working, I'm doing research. Because when you are doing something you're passionate about, something you are trying to make the world a better place, the human condition better, there is no work involved. It is career that is much more intellectually satisfying and rewarding at the end than most others that I know. But research, again, you don't have the picture of having research in a university sitting as a research professor. It can be research in a corporate environment. It can be research in your whatever job process you're at, trying to make things go better. The second part of research that is necessary and rewarding also is communicating and disseminating. We heard Prasanta talk a little bit earlier about that. If you have a great idea and you do not share it, it is as well as you did not have the idea. There's a nice story in the Bible where there is a parable that says that if you have a light, put the lamp on top of the bushel, not under the bushel. So that's the idea, that you must communicate and disseminate. This is my brief answer. The research profession, and in terms of practicalities, in terms of people's succeeding in financial matters and such, 20 years back, things were a little bit tighter, a little bit tougher when we made our careers. Now I find that people getting into this business are doing equally well, if not much, much better financially. If you go into one of the big technology companies, for example, right now, the starting salaries for PhDs are $250,000 and more sometimes, some of these technology companies. It is very hard for me to keep them and get them back to become faculty or postdoctoral fellows. So that is the idea that researchers are poor is demonstrably false now. So that is another reason that I think you can think of. But there is one thing about research. You have to work on something that is passionate for you. Because you are working all the time on research. There's no off time, as I was saying earlier. So that is my big question for our young listeners and their parents. Find who you are. Find what is it that excites you the most. And that takes time. It may take 4 years of undergraduate and even more. The things I do research on, every 2, 3, 5 years, they change. So those things are finding who you are, what you are passionate about, and finding how you can have an impact. Those are my answers roughly to your question. One other bit of advice to people that want to get into research. In your research, you have to think about how, because there's very rarely somebody else who can completely check what you do. So how, or completely help what you do. So you have to pay attention to every detail yourself. You have to be careful about doing your work, whatever it is, and carefully being able to reproduce and repeat that. So those are some general thoughts on research as a career. Number one, it is very satisfying personally. Number two, in terms of the material rewards these days, it's not so bad. Number three, you absolutely have the joy of creating something new, something special that you share with the world and you improve the human condition. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Professor Patra, and thank you very much. And our next speaker is Professor Durga Mishra, who has been in academic administration as well as the research. My request to him to put his thought process with respect to student counseling, how you counsel students to follow their passion and excel in their life, and why the internship and all practical means to education is very enriching, and how it will be followed by students. And in OSHA, what we can do to ensure our second generation kids get those kind of benefit and facility in tactical and strategic way.
Thank you very much, Professor Mahapatra. I want to, first of all, I will talk about how to, can I move a little bit? Okay. How actually this research opportunities, this is actually a story that I will try to summarize research opportunities for college students. Of course, the idea is to get into the system and at least do some sort of research, some sort of experience. The undergraduates and that is very important. Even high school students just go there, and so they will learn what research is. That is what actually the goal of this one. So I want to mention these things. So what happens actually, last several time I met some kids after freshman year. Normally they don't get any internship, so they don't know what to do after freshman years. So they were hanging around. So then I said, somebody said, oh, I don't have anything to do. What can I do in the summer? How to utilize my time? Then I said, apply to National Science Foundation sponsored these research programs. They're all over the country and all over discipline, engineering, science, social sciences, psychology, you name it, they have those. And they give money. They said there is a lot of topics also. The topics are in such so that you can choose exact project sort of that I want to work on this, and that way also there. And they give around $6,000 stipend for the summer for freshman students, and they give housing, they give travel to go to that travel. So you can apply to Berkeley, you can apply to Cornell, you can apply to many different places, because all these places getting funding from National Science Foundation, they do those things, and you meet the students from all over the country. Another thing also, these programs that the NSF RU, that is research experience for undergraduate, that runs, they also give these, what is it, how to do literature review, how to do presentation skills. The faculty directly mentor you, how to do seminars, how to do, what is the leadership skills. They also have those. And also writing technical articles, graduate school preparation. If you want to go to think about graduate school, it's not necessary. But what is research ethics? If you want to do, what are communication skill, intellectual properties, those are mandatory requirement that the students should learn those things. So those actually is very, very important for the young people to know. They don't have to stay in research. They just learn and get out. If they want to go to graduate school, that's fine. They want to go to a job after this, that's fine. But these experiences are actually excellent for them. So you can search for the RU sites. There are some names here listed. These are different topics, physics, chemistry, all these things, and also social sciences, behavioral sciences, and climate sciences. They're all there. And once you go through that, what are the rewards you get? Tremendous reward. Your GPA goes up. You get many awards. You get. I have seen for last 15 years. I have been associated with this type of programs. I know that, and many end up in graduate school. It built a self-confidence. It also has improves their communication skills in these programs. I will tell you one story. A close friend of mine was a PhD, and he is associated with the universities. His son was saying, Uncle, I don't have anything for this summer. I don't know what to do. Do you want me to work in a pool, this thing, because he knew swimming? I said, no, go to research. And then he applied. He started after freshman year, 3 years ago. Today, this year, he's joining PhD program. Not one, three kids from ODIA kids. They have joined PhD now. I'm so proud of them, in the top schools of their interest: chemical engineering, the brain sciences, and also in artificial intelligence. So this is actually a fantastic thing. Many of the ODIA families, especially the young families, those who have children, they are not aware of these things. So, and then once they go there, they have opportunity understanding what is career in research, what is career in industry, what is career. So they can select also the topics. They can switch topics. They don't have to, whatever their research they are doing, they don't have to move their career in that direction. But that is a learning experience with other PhD students, other graduate students, and even professors. Facilities, they can work independently in those facilities. It is an excellent experience. So that is probably I want to say. And thank you very much. And we would like to share with all these people. Now you have any questions and sort of things we can address to all of the speakers.
Okay. So this question open to people.
Thank you. Actually, this is not a question. This is just a comment. So I like what you discussed. The thing is, here I see many young children are there. Probably this particular event has not been well publicized that young students should be there. If I see, I think those people, those who are here, they know all these things. We do not have the audience here, those who are. And the other thing is, like, if you go to the actual conferences, you invite like NSF or like NIH people to come and share their thoughts. So do you think that in future OSA convention, you can invite these people so that our young children will get the ideas from them, like NSF, NIH, and other.
Okay, this program was really publicized very well. I have sent it to OSANet for asking this is Sunday afternoon for East Coast, Sunday morning, asking the parents to ask the kids to join. Even the parents can join. I did that. Here also we publicize in a big way. In the flyer, you can see 11 to 12. That is for young children, that is there. If they don't know, they don't show up, what can you do? Yeah, of course. Yeah, so but what I will do, that's why we did. We will record this and we'll share it. We are recording this. We'll share it with this thing, and then we will follow up questions. We'll do that.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Patra and Professor Mishra. Mahapatra, sorry. You can hear me. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So you talked about quantitatively measuring as a community how we can do. We have seen this happening again and again, and it just stays in the meetings and meeting notes, and nothing happens. Pranay talked about internship. We all know, like, early exposure, how important it is. In my team, I have two undergrad. Yeah, I'm Sailendra Mahanti from Bay Area. I work in Nokia. And I have 3 interns in my team. And they are all like, one is second year grad, and then one is 1 year, like the first year grad, and one is a high schooler. So I would love to, help our own kids. And I asked my daughter, like, do you know anyone? She said, like, oh, I have a high schooler in the senior, and can you take him? I took that kid in my interns. I would love to this community, like, channelize something. We have like a lot of people in the industry, and my wife works in Stanford. She says in her department, high schoolers can go and do a shadow for 3 days along with the doctors, see if the medical profession would work for them or not. Some of the kids just faint in the first day, it seems. Just look at the blood. No, I'm not up for this. So can you just humble request to streamline, put all the people have together, and then so we can help.
So actually, when we started all this higher educational program, so there are multiple things we actually took. For example, student council. There are many faculty of Odisha or Odisha origin are the professor in different department. Why they could not be, when a student entering there, if we give the database of that to our student, they can be real mentor to the student who are going second generation. And suppose some of our students entering to, let's say, college X, some Odia kids are already there. Why they cannot be mentored to this junior? So we need to create a tangible, when I'm saying tangible measurement things, we need to publicize who are the faculty in different college. Actually, we did. If you go to OSA website, higher education, you'll see all ORIA faculty names, right? There's a website. Contact information, phone, email address. Yeah. Yeah. So what we need to do, why I'm saying this thing, we can talk, then I'll go out of this room, we forget. So put a plan every year, each year, what we do and how much we progress toward that goal. And 5 years, where you want to reach. Maybe 5 years, 90% of our ODIA kid, we want to pursue, they follow their career direction. They follow counseling there, internship is there. 90% of our kids should get. I have no doubt about it. But we need to put proper method, proper process, and publication of all these things. We have a lot of very excellent people in academics, industry. Our community is very strong, one of the strongest community in US actually. And how we leverage our community to make sure our kids succeed in all these things. And we'll put a plan into thing. I'm requesting Professor Mishra to help and lead at it, and I'll support whatever is needed. Let's put a plan. So year-wise make a progress, and 5 years we want to reach that target. 90% of students, they will get through our side and excel. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The other question, please.
I have a very similar line of thoughts before you mentioned that in Houston, every year I take 1 or 2 Udia students to my lab, and they can be a high schooler or they can be a college students. And everybody knows, uncle, keep me, their parents even they tell, uncle, you keep this guy, for me. I told him first, early you come, maybe next year, because I can take maximum 2 people, high school students. And that's where what OSA can do concretely, that every chapter wise, if they can start, who are the local, OSA members or no, there's a lot of people there who are not OSA members. They can put their names and their expertise in which areas, like industry or academics, so that those names will be there and they are the potential mentors. And those areas, the local kids, they can reach to them. And that is the best way to do it.
Thank you. I think it answer Chanti. So we'll go for the next question.
Actually, can you all hear me? My suggestion is, don't suggest. If you have something in mind, lead it. Do it yourself, and then people will follow you. Otherwise, this suggesting to OSA doing, who is OSA? OSA is us. And if we want to advise somebody, it is too late. And I can tell you from my experience that it can be done, and it has been done. Last week, we had a discussion with NIT Rourkela professor, with the new director. And I suggested to him that, sir, let us have all the professors mentor 5 students from second year, so that if they are coming directly from for PhD, they will have literature survey and all those preliminary requirements already done. And here is a guy, topper of our college, his batch, did masters and then got into Google, but didn't do PhD, right? If he had been introduced in second year, he would have done it. So that is where I think we can make a difference. And each one of us, if you want, we have built NIT Rourkela, a 1,000-member organization now, and we are doing these things. Our target is 100 students coming directly for PhD from NIT Rourkela in 3 years. If we have a big goal, we'll achieve even 50%. We are, successful. So I suggest, don't tell others, you take the lead of your idea, and you are the, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to talk?
So actually, these are very good points. I would like to coordinate this one. Maybe I will say, okay, who is going to coordinate? I have been trying this one, and I will really appreciate one thing I can say. Maybe those who are interested, or you can spread the word around. I put my name here, the email address, and please send it to me, and I will make a list. Right now we have a list of faculty. We will put the list of industry leaders, and then we'll see if some students want. We can let them know. I mean, especially local areas, that is a very good one. The chapter wise, I helped in my chapter. They apply to the NSF program and they got selected and they're doing PhD. That is what actually wonderful thing. They don't have to do PhD. They just go for this experience, that life-changing experience, internship or this thing. So I will volunteer to coordinate that and put a industry, those who are, they can apply for internship, and I will do that.
Thank you. Houston. So, more khali, when I'm just sharing, I don't know the answers to these questions which I have been pondering for a few years because ମୁଁ କାମ କରେ ଗୋଟେ organization ପାଇଁ ସେବା international Houston chapter ପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କର college curriculum like college internship curriculum ପାଇଁ. So ଆମର challenge ହେଲା that there are two kind of kids nowadays. So I'm sure many of you resonate with this. ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରକାର ଛୁଆ ମାନେ ହେଲେ ସେମାନେ ମାଗଣା କାମ କରିବେନି ତାଙ୍କୁ ପଇସା ଦରକାର, right? So we are a charitable organization. We want the kids to understand the importance of seva, right? ସେଟା ଆମର ଚ୍ୟାଲେଞ୍ଜ ହେଲା ତ ଆମେ କରୁଛୁ ଯେ କେମିତି ତାଙ୍କୁ ପଇସା ବି ଦବୁ କିଛି ଶିଖେଇବୁ ବି. So that's the challenge. Second form of kids ହେଲା which I have two of them. So ସେମାନେ at the end of the day ଆମେ ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ଶୁଣିଛି research କର ଇଏ କର but the time has changed, right? So when ଆମେ ସ୍କୁଲକୁ ଯାଉଥିଲୁ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ workforce ପଶିଲୁ ଆମକୁ ଜଣା ପଡୁଥିଲା ଯେ what's the bottom line of the corporation that you're working for. It's not anymore, right? Google will agree with that more than anybody else. So ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଛୁଆମାନଙ୍କର question ହେଲା what are we doing for the society? What's the societal impact? Whatever you are doing, right? Dr. Pranab, I think he's talked about societal impact, right? Because of the research. So ସେଇଟା ଯଦି ଆମେ କିଛି ଆମେ ସବୁଗୁଡ଼ାକୁ ଯଦି କିଛି ଏଟାକୁ ଆମେ ଯଦି କିଛିଟା ସବୁଟାକୁ ଇଣ୍ଟରକନେକ୍ଟ କରିପାରିବା ଏ ଛୁଆମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ because paradigm has shift. ଆମେ ସିଏ ତାଙ୍କ ପ୍ରଫେସର କହିଲେ କାହିଁକି PhD ଗଲେନି but I think that's all he learned that he shouldn't be doing the PhD. It's not for everyone, right? So କଥା ହେଲା ଯେ ଆମେ ଯଦି first of all ଛୁଆମାନେ जो tender age ରେ ସେମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର growth ହେଉଛି ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ବୁଝେଇବା it's not always about money. Success is not always about money, not about you staying in publishing papers and all that first, right? Second hoji, you follow your passion. Like you can be unsuccessful and still impact, like successful, like you can stay, I don't know, there are people staying in Yosemite Park and impacting like safa korchundi ki Himalaya jaiki base camp safa korchundi. That's they're also successful, right? So ame jodi sei manunku sei bhaliya dei pariba through this internship program, sei bhaliya tanku outlook dei pariba, I think that will solve the purpose. I'm just saying it all. It's not like I'm doing it. It's just I'm pondering. But again, parents mane intervene କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ, ବୁଝିବାକୁ ପଡିବ. Of course, professional ମାନଙ୍କୁ ବି ବହୁତ role ଅଛି ଯେ ସେମାନେ କହିବାକୁ ପଡିବ. You don't have to be like me, right? You can be, you just follow your passion, right? Yeah. So that's it.
Thank you. Prasant. Oh,
okay. Sorry, I've been handling 3 different fires at the same time. So I missed the first part of the question, but I think I get the gist. So the important thing is, you know, gone are the days where every student have to be formed the same cookie cutter and then build up in there. Let the students follow that dream, and we as parents or teachers need to figure out a way to support how they can achieve their dream. We don't want, it's actually a fact, you know, all professors wanted to create a clone of themselves, okay? That's always a desire for any academician, that can I produce a clone of myself? And that is a wrong attitude, okay? Right. Well, research is not the only thing that makes people successful. There are many other ways to be successful. Unfortunately, that's glorified way too much, but that should not be. But I think if we let the students and our children follow their own path and facilitate that to build a perfect human being, and success is defined based on what gives you happiness in life, okay? And different people have different ways of expressing their happiness. So I think the role of educators should be to facilitate, mentor, and guide them based on what they want. So I'll give you an analogy, which, in all universities and all non-profit, including OSA, we always, when they donate money, the philosophy is go on donors' wishes. While dealing with children and students, we have to go with their desires and guide them and make them successful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What OSHA has been doing, particularly in the Seva, I'm actually new. I live in New Jersey, New York, New Jersey chapter. They're doing excellent work, like food bank kind of things. We do in each of the things, like the Thanksgiving and all, the blood bank and all. The people, local chapter can take a lead actually to implement those Seva things, depending upon the local need. Actually. And New York, New Jersey chapter actually doing tremendous work. Lalatindu was there, he left actually. He could say what we have been doing. Maybe that kind of model we can implement on local chapter, because local chapter need is different from one thing to other. And we implement that in addition to these educational things. That could be spreading that whole things out among the overall community. So that's what I'm saying. Where OSA? Which OSA? And how we can put that model and thought process at local chapter level and make this thing happen. That we should take a charge and do. And I think there's another thing I just want to tell you, another thing. For this high school student, it's not about education, research and all. We started called Kalinga Entrepreneurship Award in 2009. It's a $3,000 award every year to go give, encouraging high school students become entrepreneurs. And some of the students actually kind of becoming entrepreneurs, inspired by those activities. So it is only for high school students. And yearly college student, they give a proposal and they win the contest. But the money is not the thing. To encourage, inspire them to become future entrepreneurs. That's what we've been doing. And I think at OSHA level and local chapter level, we can do a lot of things in a coordinated way for our kids to succeed in their life. There is a question on the last.
Thank you very much. This has been such an interesting venue for me. I'm a faculty member at a medical school, and I'm also a NIH. I'm a cancer epidemiologist, and I'm a second generation here. And I was sort of also wondering, there's probably vast experience and knowledge here about how to get our third generation or our children involved in educational or scientific opportunities in India. I think there is a group of children who are very much interested in doing some summer experiences or some learning in India itself. And, are there any thoughts about that?
I think, or I can comment also about
it. It's a very good question, and at the present, Uganda is sitting there. Students from foreign countries, they are actually in his own institute, NIST. They are doing the summer internship. Like Professor Savita Acharya announced, they have international student exchange program established. Now they have also an international student exchange center there. So let me request Sukanta to comment on this.
There's a lot of opportunity. So actually in our institute, actually I'm kind of a National Institute of Science and Technology, Institute for Barampur. I'm leading some activity over there. So we do summer research internship. And that too is like right now it is a kind of a hybrid mode, because we want to get international students to apply for doing summer research. Now this year, actually 2 people, one from Bulgaria, another from Hungary, they applied to do summer research there, right? So it is open. It's not, you don't have to go physically to do that. With the technology and other things, actually this could be very easily done. And people want to go and travel. There's a lot of opportunity. Trying from social services, doing research, doing education, even just getting familiarized with the local community, what we can do for the community. It's very open actually nowadays, and it could be very well coordinated and well supported. And OSHA can play a very pivotal role to help enable this thing happen. And the opportunity exists. need the coordination and connect to right things, right people. That's what we need to do.
Thank you, Sukanavu. And okay, first for sure. Okay, but I wanted to related comment. I want to give a related comment first. I'm sorry, coming to you. So that is a fantastic question, and in higher education committee, that thought has been going on for an exchange program, to set up an exchange program, so that Professor Durga Mishra, his institute has an exchange program with India. So what happens is that from NJIT in Odisha, there is students can go from this side to there, or they can come here, right? We wanted to make it institutional by signing the MOU, and that's the MOU that we talked about a little bit in the higher education seminar part of it. And we want to do it. We want to implement it in a bigger platform through government, like through Odisha government. And once it sets, if everybody else, it is going to be helpful for everybody. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Namaskar everyone, my name is Ikshita Padhi. I am a rising senior at Folsom High School. I'm doing a summer internship this summer, and I only found out about it because I researched myself. So this is more of a comment, not a question. But if OSA can present the opportunities to us so we don't have to research them all the time, then I think it'll be helpful, like especially because a lot of us here are all high schoolers. And so summer internships, especially now, are super, super important for college applications and such. So I think if OSA can present different opportunities that we can do locally, then that'll be more beneficial to all of us.
We want to do that when you go to college. Now you are senior, rising senior, so you don't have much time. After your freshman year, contact me. I will put you in a research anywhere you want to go.
So thank you, everyone. I have a just kind of information for the committee, and from both from Canadian side as well as from Indian side. So my name is Professor Manju Mishra, and I am from University of Guelph, Canada. I am talking first about one program which helps both sides, from students from India coming to Canada as well as Canadian students coming and having the experiential learning program for 3 months, which is a 12 weeks program, all paid by MyTax. That is one non-profit organization in Canada, which is called the Mathematics of Technology, Information Technology and a Complex System. In short, it is MyTax. And it is right now, it is open for next year, meaning for 2023, May, June, July. Now the applications are open. So now Indian students can apply to come to Canada, or Canadian students can apply to come back to India. That's like very strong, robust experiential learning program. And it's like in different field, including various industry sectors, as well as for social cause, any innovations. And it can happen through any universities in Canada or in India. So it is really good. No money required. Government pays everything. That is one thing. And for Canadian students, I would say that USRA, that is the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada, which is equivalent to National Science Foundation of the United States. So they give a lot of money throughout the summer for summer experiential learning. And that gives money also to the high school students and any undergraduates in different fields. So these are easy to apply and have the things, but the USRA is for only Canadian citizens or immigrants. But the MyTax is for everybody. Everybody can have. Oh, we take every summer like 10 students, and my colleague and spouse, Professor Amar Mohanty, is here. So in our laboratory, we take 10 students. We can take from any place. For example, in my tax, students from the United States can go even to Canada. All money paid. There is no limit actually in our lab. What it is throughout the 100%. Yeah, it's like that, right? Yeah, exactly. So no, that is really because they support it. They want the exchange, and that actually improves the quality of education from both sides, both country, and actually it enhances the partnership, not only for one project, but for the many projects for the future, and which is really nice for our Odisha students coming to Canada, as well as Canadian students going back to India, even from any, like there are 10 countries from where students can come to Canada too. Sure. Thank you very much.
We'll really appreciate if you can share your contact with Durga. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time. Wonderful. So my suggestion that Higher Education Committee of the OSHA take couple of initiatives. That's my suggestion. First, publicizing the faculty and the professor of different university, so all ODIA students can get access to data from the website. Number two, it's not faculty and all, the industry leaders like him and all, who should be publicizing that. So in our community, the strong leadership and people who want to really help our students and kids to succeed in their life, number one. Number two, this kind of opportunity we can put in the website so that Odisha or any university institute, even giving them directly saying, this is the opportunity to apply, right? But we can publicize the website. Anybody can access the website from OSHA, and that could be publicized to outside, take advantage of it. And this is the minimum what we can do. And again, we put a strategic plan in 5 years, how many students we want to get from Odisha, how many our students should get into PhD or research or industry collaboration or internship. On each area, we put some strategic plan, tactically see what we are progressing. And also next OSHA session, I want to see, we take that step and give a readout. Okay, we have achieved out of 10%, we have achieved 8.2%. Let's make it concrete, tangible, and all of your support. OSHA is no hypothetical thing. All of us are OSHA. And let's put promise and make an effort so that we make our kids success, make our state success, makes our community success. Thank you very much.
That is just cut me off. Give me 10 seconds warning. I can summarize. More Nahala Manjit Mishra, Iowa State University. And Aji, these are wonderful ideas that we are talking about. But Suni Parchundi Bartaman? Acha. These are wonderful ideas. Bahut badhiya idea. Kintu, mu bhabuchi, let me tell you a story. I'm a storyteller. So the king sends his son to get educated. And the teacher said, "Oh, king, we will not only teach him how to think, but we will teach him what to think." You see? So I think we have to address it at the root level. The second comment is this. If we talk a lot of these details, Naiko Munir Jasya Mata Pramana, lots of discussion happens, and we do not come up with a strategy. So, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So here is my proposal. I read a lot of Stephen Covey, and Stephen Covey says, begin with end in mind. This applies extremely to what we are talking about. What are the impacts you are looking for due to some of these programs, instead of talking about 10 seconds, okay? So what are the impacts that you are looking for, and develop a strategic plan? Like you are saying, it's not only strategic plan, it is strategic thinking. We have to change the thinking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I will give my last comments because I, as an organizer, not as a panelist, actually I will appreciate very much Prasant Bhuya coming it and coordinating the Zoom that we did with India. And also Albany is to stay for the 2 hours, patiently listening, the most busiest man I know. And so, and also some of you stayed completely from the beginning and listening to this. The ultimate goal is to make an impact, to have something moving. So we have been trying to do our best, and we need your support. At least I will, please contact me. Anybody, I will also send one email to Osanet that anybody who can take interns, please give their names so that locally and the location, so that students can contact them. Feel good that, okay, we can get in or at least apply there. So you select them based on that. So this is, this finally, this higher education seminar comes to a close. Thank you very much.